So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a very short span of time within 30 minutes. The idea is very simple. We want you to cover your current affairs on a daily basis, but we don't want you to spend your entire day just reading the newspaper. Therefore, we shall cover the entire day's current affairs within 30 minutes. Now, just watching this lecture in 30 minutes would be job half done, because just after watching it, you need to revise it as well, because revision helps in consolidating these current affairs in your memory. Otherwise, you'll quickly forget them. Now, you can revise these current affairs from the notes provided along with this lecture, and these notes are shared on our Telegram platform. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section just below this video. Alright then, let's begin today's discussion. But first, let's take a look at the list of topics that we shall cover today. So in total, we'll be covering these 4 topics. Okay. Number 1 on this list is first person view, FPV drones. Recently, a massive attack was conducted on Russia by Ukraine, and this has changed the nature of warfare all over the world. The entire world is praising Ukraine for their innovation as far as attacking Russia is concerned. Okay. Now, they used first person drones in this attack. So what are these first person view drones, FPV drones, that would change the nature of warfare in the coming days? Okay, we'll talk about this. Then recently, Ministry of Science and Technology launched a large language model which would be available in 22 scheduled languages of India, known as BharatGen AI. So we'll talk about this BharatGen AI, who developed it. Okay, we'll talk about all these things. Then topic number 3 would be launch of UMEED portal. This UMEED portal would register Waqf properties. Now Waqf law has been amended. Okay, a new law has come out. So to streamline the registration of Waqf properties, government has launched, Ministry of Minority Affairs has launched UMEED portal. So we'll talk about this. And in the end, we'll talk about a scheme launched by Government of India to promote manufacture of electric vehicles in India. So what is this scheme? When was it launched? And recently new guidelines were basically released by Ministry of Heavy Industries with respect to this scheme. We'll talk about this also. Alright. So these are the 4 topics that we shall focus our attention on. Let's start discussing them one by one, starting with topic number 1, and that is first person view drones. Now first, let's talk about the background. Why are we discussing FPV drones? Okay. A Ukrainian drone attack on Russia destroyed more than 40 planes. Okay, 40 planes. That's a big attack. Well, Pakistan was claiming victory against India post Operation Sindoor, saying that we have downed 4 fighter jets of India. Right? Now, obviously, that claim is false, completely false. But one thing is true, and that is Russia's 40 planes are down. Now, if Pakistan was declaring victory on 5 jets, imagine what sort of a victory it would be for Ukraine by downing these 40 planes. Okay, it's a huge loss for Russia. Okay, on Sunday, marking the deepest strikes in Russian territory since the conflict began in February 2022. This is the deepest strike in Russian territory. Okay, you attacked Russian air bases. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called this Operation Spider's Web. Okay, and he said that this attack on Sunday was being planned for 18 months. And it was a sneak attack. Okay, you basically stationed these drones. You were stationing these drones for 18 months without detection, very close to Russian territory, and then you launched them. Okay. Several sources have said that the first person view drones were used in this attack. Clear? 117 drones, 5 targets, destroying 40 planes, including nuclear bombers. Okay, those air fighter jets that would be used to drop nuclear bombs. So it was a very massive Operation Spider's Web. Okay, and many people say that this would change the nature of warfare in years to come. Now, every country would use drones for fighting. Okay. Now, first of all, the thing is that Ukraine used FPV drones. Now, FPV drones are very cheap drones. Okay. But what are they? First of all, let's talk about this. Okay. What are first person view drones? So about these drones, So first person view drones means that a person piloting the drone, so someone who is operating this drone from a remote controller, well, he would see what the drone is seeing. Okay, so there would be a camera attached on this drone, and whatever the camera sees, well, the person is also seeing. Clear? That is why we call them first person view, because whatever the drone is seeing, the pilot who is controlling this drone from a remote controller is also seeing. Generally, drone operators who operate drones, they don't get first person view. Okay, they don't use first person view because first person view has a lot of disadvantages. Basically, they use GPS and maps, okay, to drive their drones. So they have a view, okay, a 3D view in which they are driving their drone. But this is a first person view. Okay, now such drones are generally used for filming purposes and non-defense purposes. Rarely they are used for defense purposes, and the reason for that is because they have a disadvantage, because you can only see what this camera sees. So whatever this camera sees, you are only able to see that. What if someone or some attack happens from behind, or how would you locate your target? That's a very difficult job. Okay, so the challenge of these drones is drones movement through their surroundings cannot be seen by the drone operator. This can limit situational awareness. Okay, where is a rocket launcher behind this drone? All these things are not seen. You can only see what gets caught in this camera. Okay, so this can lead situational awareness, can also lead disorientation. If the camera is not working, then you go completely blind. So this is a big problem. That is why these drones are not used. But the biggest advantage of these drones is that they are extremely cheap, extremely low cost, right? They are low cost drones that are used for filming purposes, non-defense purposes. But Ukraine used these cheap drones for attacking the enemy. Surely they must be having some advantages. So what are those advantages? Advantages of FPV drones. First of all, the cost advantage. Okay, other drones that have good situational awareness, that you drive through GPS and maps, well, other drones are quite expensive. But these drones just cost $500, like around 42,000 rupees per drone. Now you can basically collect a lot of drones. Like Ukraine did, they attacked with 117 drones with specific payload and then attack. Some of them would get wasted, of course, but they are so cheap that you don't mind some of them getting wasted. Okay, now this gives a very good cost advantage, because other artillery system, missile systems, or all the other things, artillery shelling, they're very expensive. These drones aren't. Okay, plus the biggest advantage of these drones is that, well, enemy radars do not catch these drones because these drones do not appear hostile. They're smaller drones. Okay, so they don't appear hostile. So you can get deep inside an enemy territory without getting detected. So conventional warplanes are rarely used in wars like these, like between Russia and Ukraine. Why? Well, because they are easily detected by anti-aircraft systems. Okay, S-400s of Russia and many other things. But these drones, well, these drones are extremely cheap drones. Russia won't use their S-400s on them. Okay, plus they won't even detect them. So they would go largely undetected and strike deep inside the territory. These cheap drones. Plus, usage of drones in warfare is overall beneficial because no human life is involved. Okay, because no human life is involved, as is the case with fighter jets. There is a highly trained pilot involved. But with this, even if some of these drones get shot down, well, you don't fear them because, well, these are drones. No human life is getting destroyed with this. Okay, no highly trained soldiers of yours are getting destroyed. Okay, so that is why they are deployed in high numbers. They were not only deployed in this Operation Spider's Web, they were deployed in high numbers by both India and Pakistan post Operation Sindoor, the 4-day conflict after Operation Sindoor. Right? So drone warfare is the new warfare, is the new modern warfare. Every country would now be thinking of developing high quality, good, cheap drones. Clear? So this was the significance of Operation Spider's Web, because the entire world's military would be looking at this and learning from it, okay, taking notes from this. All right, so it has drastically changed the warfare techniques. Plus, Ukraine did not incur that much cost on this also. Clear? So it was a win-win for them. Not much money was wasted, no human lives were wasted. Plus, you struck deep inside enemy territory. You downed 40 of their fighter jets. Clear? That's a big thing. All right. So these are FPV drones. Now let's quickly shift our focus to topic number 2, and that is BharatGen AI. Okay. So BharatGen, India's first indigenously developed government-funded multimodal large language model. Large language models like ChatGPT, Google Gemini and all, designed for Indian languages. Now the biggest advantage of BharatGen AI model is that it is designed for Indian languages. Okay. Now there are 22 scheduled languages which are mentioned in Schedule 8 of our constitution. Okay. This includes Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Assamese, Bengali, all the important languages. So 22 scheduled languages. This BharatGen AI is trained and developed for these 22 scheduled languages. So people who struggle with English, well, they can definitely opt for BharatGen AI instead of ChatGPT. Okay. Now this BharatGen AI model, this LLM, was launched at BharatGen Summit. Now BharatGen Summit is India's largest generative AI and LLM summit. Okay, generative AI, the AI that we see these days, and LLM, well, ChatGPTs and all. These are called LLMs. Summit and hackathon. Hackathon is basically a meeting in which ideas are proposed, discussed upon, and new ideas, problem-solving ideas are proposed. Okay, so it is one of the largest Gen AI and LLM summit and hackathon, and on this occasion, BharatGen AI, which was a completely government-funded LLM for Indians in 22 scheduled languages, was launched. Okay, now some more information about this BharatGen AI. So first of all, it was developed under National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems. Okay, and led by TIH, Foundation for IoT and IoE at IIT Bombay. Okay, so TIH Foundation is a foundation established at IIT Bombay which takes care of, well, new technologies. Okay, basically TIH stands for Technology Innovation Hub. Technology Innovation Hub. Okay, so it was established at IIT Bombay for doing research and innovation on Internet of Things and Internet of Everything, IoE. Basically, all things now will be on Internet. So this and AI also. So they developed this foundational model. They developed this BharatGen AI, and this development by TIH under IIT Bombay was done under National Mission for Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems. Okay. So what are the features of this LLM model? Well, it integrates text, okay, speech. So you can ask questions to this AI model via speech, and image modalities to deliver AI solutions in 22 Indian languages. Now this part is great. 22 Indian languages, because this would basically include those people who are not that familiar with English. So this would lead to inclusive growth also. AI would work towards inclusion. Okay, it won't exclude someone just because they are not well versed in English. Okay, now the purpose is to meet India's regional, linguistic and cultural diversity needs. That is why we have launched this model in 22 languages. Some different regions of India speak different languages and they have different cultures. They can use this model. Okay, here on this image you can see some of the features of this model. All right. Now, what is the significance of the launch of this model? Okay, significance is important. Like I said, because it is launched in 22 languages, so it would promote inclusive growth. Okay, plus this AI model can be used in health and governance. Do you know that many doctors these days are using ChatGPT to answer questions of various patients? Okay, they're using ChatGPT to answer some questions that patients have. Now, well, BharatGen AI can be used for delivering health-based OPD services or other services, right? It can be used in governance also. Some governance answers or answers to different policy questions can be made. So this would promote inclusive growth because it would make health more accessible, governance more accessible. Plus, this would have spillover benefits. This BharatGen AI can be used in other areas. For example, it can support national platforms like centralized public grievance redress and monitoring system where people can file their complaints. Okay. Now, if you integrate this complaints platform with BharatGen AI, people can file their complaints, well, in their own languages, and that can be translated with some corrections automatically. You might speak in a grammatically incorrect sentence, but this would grammatically correct your sentence, file an application on its own, and send it. You didn't file the application, you just spoke. So it can be integrated with CPgrams, AI powered telemedicine, like online consultation with doctor, telemedicine, AI in education. Then it would enhance India's decade vision. Now, what is India's decade vision? Well, India said that 2020 to 2030, this decade would be led by India's tech. Okay, India's development in this decade would be led by tech. Hence, you combined these two words and called it decade. So this aligns with that vision also. Plus, it would promote education as enshrined in National Education Policy 2020. So these are the benefits. These are the features that you can look at from this picture. And that's all you need to know as far as this topic is concerned. Okay. Now let's quickly shift our focus to topic number 3, which is launch of UMEED portal. So as you all know, we have discussed this also, and you must have also seen this in the news as well. Well, government basically passed Waqf Amendment Act. Okay. Waqf Amendment Bill was passed, which basically streamlined, enhanced, gave more transparency, accountability to the Waqf system. Okay. Now, to basically implement this Waqf Amendment Act, this new law that regulates Waqf properties, okay, UMEED portal has been launched. So, central government is set to officially launch Waqf UMEED, Unified Waqf Management, Empowerment, Efficiency and Development portal on 6 June, aimed at streamlining and digitizing registration and management of Waqf properties. Now, Waqf properties have to be registered on this UMEED portal. This would enhance transparency. Everyone can see what all Waqf properties are there and where they are. Okay. And it would also help the managers of these properties. They can use UMEED portal to look where their properties are, these properties are, and how to manage them. Okay. So this is the purpose of UMEED portal. So about this portal, so it is a centralized digital platform for registering and regulating Waqf properties. Now, who is the implementing agency for this? Ministry of Minority Affairs, Union Ministry of Minority Affairs, central government, in coordination with state Waqf boards. So Waqf properties are handled by Waqf boards as per state laws under state governments. Okay. So this portal will be managed by Ministry of Minority Affairs in coordination with state Waqf boards and judicial authorities. Okay. Why judicial authorities? In case there is a dispute. Okay. So judicial authorities are also involved. Now, you must know, but we have discussed this in previous current affairs as well, and I am sure that you know about this. What are Waqf properties? Well, in Islamic law, that is Sharia, okay, any Muslim can donate their property for the purpose of charitable purposes. Basically, Waqf properties are those properties which are donated by Muslims to God. Okay. So you're donating your properties to God, technically, okay? Now, the Waqf board would manage these properties basically for charitable reasons, okay? So this is the idea. So it is a permanent charitable endowment under Islamic law where property is donated for religious and public welfare use. It cannot be sold, inherited or transferred. Once it is given to God, it cannot be taken away or reverted back to, okay, or sold again. It will be used for religious and charitable purposes as per Muslim law. Okay, Islamic law, that is Sharia. Clear? Now, what are the key features of this portal? So, first of all, time-bound registration is one of them. Then all properties will be geo-tagged. You can look at them on maps. All properties would be digitized so that they can be managed properly. Now, because they will be geotagged, there will be digitization of records, it would lead to less disputes. Okay. Plus, legal awareness tools would also be provided on this portal so that people have all the legal options. Okay. Women-centric provisions, property under women's name cannot be designated as Waqf, but women, children and EWS will remain eligible beneficiaries. So, some of the provisions as per Waqf Amendment Bill. What are the benefits of this portal? Transparency, reduction in disputes because anyone can look at it, and transparency basically reduces disputes, streamlined registration and enhanced accountability. Right? Alright. Now let's shift our focus to the last topic of the day, which is, well, scheme for electric vehicles in India. We are massively promoting electric vehicles, electric mobility in India, right? And for that reason, we have launched multiple schemes. One such scheme was launched by Ministry of Heavy Industries called Scheme to Promote Manufacturing of Electric Passenger Cars in India. So this scheme would basically promote manufacturing in India so that electric vehicles driven in India are manufactured in India. They're not imported. Right? Now, recently Government of India has basically launched some guidelines with respect to this scheme. Though this scheme was launched, was first announced in March 15, 2024 and officially launched in June 2024. The month is not important, the year is. So this scheme by Ministry of Heavy Industries was launched in 2024. Okay. Now about this scheme. So it was launched by Ministry of Heavy Industries. It is a government scheme to incentivize domestic and global electric vehicle manufacturers. Okay. So Indian manufacturers of electric vehicles and international foreign manufacturers of electric vehicles would be incentivized to come set up their factories in India. Because if they'll set up their factories in India, this would generate jobs in India, GDP in India, and many more benefits. Plus, electric vehicles would be more manufactured, which would really help the environment also. Okay. So the purpose of this scheme is to establish EV car production capabilities in India. Now, how are you incentivizing these foreign manufacturers or domestic manufacturers? Okay, how are you giving them incentives? How are you attracting them to set up factories in India? You're giving them tax benefits, some investment linked incentives. So the more your investment, okay, the more money you're investing in EV sector in India, the more financial benefits you'll get. Okay. Now, what would be the benefits? If this scheme becomes successful, then what are the benefits? Well, it would lead to increased foreign direct investment because foreign EV manufacturers would come to India. This would reduce India's import bill on two accounts. Okay, demand for EV is rising. Now, if we manufacture EVs in India, well, we don't have to import them. So, in that regard, it would reduce our import bill. Plus, if more and more Indians use electric vehicles, there is less requirement for, well, fossil fuels, petrol and diesel. And we import a lot of crude oil, right? So, it would reduce crude oil import also. It would also lead to clean energy transition because these electric vehicles do not emit greenhouse gases. So this would allow us to come one step closer to our target of net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2070. Okay. And it would definitely boost manufacturing, boost jobs and many other things. Okay. So this is related to the economic output. So our economy would get boosted, jobs and output. Okay. Now, sorry. Yeah, that was the previous one. That would be all. Yeah, that's all you need to know as far as this topic is concerned. Okay. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But like I say this every time, it will add more value if you're consistent and regular with this lecture series. Plus, you revise this lecture as well. Because revision is important. I've talked about it in the beginning of this lecture. Okay, revision is important. Do not forget to revise this. On that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.